Welcome back. For many Texans, one of the most polarizing topics across the state is the history of the Alamo and battle centuries ago.
A book released earlier this month looks at the myths and the legends associated with the battle and tries to separate fact from fiction. Our Case That Explains team did a deep dive into this topic, and since then, we have learned there are some questions about the famed Phil Collins Alamo artifact collection. RJ
Marquez is back to talk about this book and this debate over the Collins collection. RJ.
Yeah, good morning, guys. So this is an interesting debate that we've recently just kind of discussed or seen that's been publicated. So back in March, I interviewed Chris Tomlinson. He is he's a columnist for the Houston Chronicle and the San Antonio Express News. And basically, he's also the co-author of a book titled Forget the Alamo, The Rise and Fall of an American Myth. And of course, that book has gotten a lot of reaction, to say the least, but at the time we did not talk about the Phil Collins collection. So for people that may not know, Phil Collins, yes, the iconic music star Phil Collins, is a huge fan of the Alamo and the history of the Alamo, and he put together the largest collection of Alamo artifacts in the entire world. In 2014, Collins donated that collection of artifacts to the Texas General Land Office with hopes of it maybe going into an Alamo museum in the future. But in the book, Tomlinson spoke to former Alamo historian Bruce Winders, who questioned whether some of those very popular items are authentic. Here's what Chris says about what they found.
And then a lot of the big name items like Jim Bowie's knife, William Barrett Travis's items, Davy Crockett's shot pouch, these things were not what Phil Collins and his experts said they were. And so we did a deep dive. We went and tracked down the people who sold these items to Collins. We went through the paperwork at the GLO and discovered, yeah, there's at least 18 items that cannot be supported.
All right, so Chris later told me that obviously Phil Collins not very happy about some of these latest discoveries here. He said that Mr. Collins declined to be interviewed for the book and basically said that Phil Collins believes that the authors of this book are just trying to tear people down. Here's a little bit more of the reaction he's gotten from this specific excerpt of the book.
It's a lot of anger. We've had some threats. We've had people get on Amazon who haven't read our book and give us 1-star ratings. Being attacked on Twitter. Jerry Patterson, who we interviewed for the book, is now trying to retract some of the things that he told us. But this is in the interest of the truth. It's the interest of making sure that no one's getting the wool pulled over their eyes.
Yeah, again, guys, a very interesting debate. So if you want to hear that full interview that I did with Chris Tomlinson, I did that last night. You could go to our website, ksat.com. And again, the book is called Forget the Alamo. Again, the Alamo, always a lightning rod, very emotional issue when it comes to Texas, and of course the history of it and who was involved in the battle and just kind of separating fact and fiction. Also want to let you know, we did the Case That Explains episode. That streamed back in March. So if you want to learn more about that, we titled it How the Battle of the Alamo Will Be Remembered, get into a lot of the history of things. And of course, we now have new plans for the redesign for the Alamo Plaza. So this is always a developing situation. So I'd make sure I advise you guys to go check that stuff out on ksat.com. David, Tiffany?
All right, RJ, thank you very much.